Hello, welcome again to this channel. This is Ivy once again. Hope you've had an amazing day. I have had a really good day today. I haven't gone out, I've been indoors all day and I've just rested really. So, I believe that the cause and quality of our lives is determined not just by who we are, it is also determined by the relationships that we have with people, with places, and with things. Today, I'm going to talk about relationships. And like I said, always I am passionate about relationships, about daily life. And we cannot go through daily life without talking about the relationships that we have made with people, with places, with the things that are in our lives. So, what is a relationship? A relationship is the way in which two or more things are connected, or the state of being connected to something or to someone. And here I am going to be referring to three types of relationships. And I know that there are so many types of relationships out there, but I'm going to link it to symbiotic relationships. So I'm linking it to my knowledge of biology, A-level biology. Yeah. So, what are symbiotic relationships? These are relationships that exist between living organisms, and these relationships are sometimes beneficial to these living things. They are sometimes harmful to these living things, and they provide a balance that can only be achieved by working together. So, a symbiotic relationship is a relationship between two or more living things which can be harmful, it can be beneficial, and it provides to that ecosystem a balance that can only be achieved by working together. Now, when I talk of relationship, I'm going to be talking about this, linking it to people. You're probably asking yourself, how can all relationships be? If I talk about relationships being harmful, how can I say that working together they can be they can provide balance? I'm going to definitely delve into that. So, when I talk about symbiotic relationships, there are three main types of symbiotic relationships. The first one is commensalism or commensals or the commensal relationship. This is a relationship where one person benefits from the other. So, two living things in a relationship whereby one person benefits from the other, but the other one is not harmed. That means the benefactor benefits from the other person, but the other person is not harmed. For example, there are two living things that are kind of practice commensalism. We have got the remora fish. The remora fish is very skinny, very bony. And to swim through the ocean, it needs an amount of energy that it does not have. If it keeps on swimming without this type of relationship, it is going to become bonier and bonier by the day, if there's any such thing as bonier. You know what I mean? And what the remora fish does is it attaches its dorsal fin, that's the fin on the back, to the whale. Okay, when it attaches itself to the whale then carries the remora fish around. Therefore, it preserves its own energy. So in this situation, the remora fish does not harm the whale, but it benefits from the whale. The second type is a mutual relationship. In a mutual relationship, both living entities gain from each other. That means there's that exchange there, there's mutualism between them. There is a third type of relationship which is called a parasitic relationship. So this third type, this is the type whereby one living thing gains from the other and in turn harms the other. That means you've got two living things living in a parasitic relationship. One gains and the other one is harmed. An example is ticks. Ticks will attach themselves onto cows, onto cattle. They will suck the blood from the cattle, that is gaining. In return, they will infect the cattle with Lyme disease. Therefore, that is a parasitic relationship. So the cattle loses all. Okay, it's a win-win situation for the ticks, but the cattle loses. So, despite this, I am going to be linking these to human relationships because we are living organisms, and even though we do not practice it like in the other parts of the animal kingdom, but we are still living organisms, and these type of relationships exist between humans as well. So, what therefore is a good relationship? A good relationship is one where it is there is mutual understanding between the parties involved. A good relationship is one that you approach cautiously, where the participants behave in a manner that is in line with their core values. Therefore, it is based on kindness, it is based on compassion, it is based on empathy, and is mutually beneficial to both parties. So, in this situation, we're talking about a mutually beneficial relationship between the two parties that are involved. Now, like I said earlier, the quality and the course of our lives are determined not just by who we are intrinsically, they are also determined by the relationships that we have with other people, with places, with things. And when I talk of things, you're probably thinking, what things is she talking about? I mean things like food, like alcohol, like the gym. What are the relationships that you have with these things or these places? Now, Proverbs 13 verse 20 says, walk with the wise and you shall become wise, but a companion of fools suffers harm. When they talk about fools here, I would imagine they are talking about the spiritually unintelligent. If you are not spiritually intelligent, then you are deemed a fool. That just goes to say, I become who I walk with. Show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are. That is what is often said, isn't it? Or bad company corrupts good character, another saying. And that comes from 1 Corinthians 15:33, that we should not be deceived. Bad company corrupts good character. Now, today when I talk about relationships, there are healthy relationships that we can develop with people, places, and things. And there are unhealthy relationships as well. I am going to talk about the signs of unhealthy relationships because it's a growing concern of mine in our daily lives. So what are these signs then? Or first of all, what is an unhealthy relationship? An unhealthy relationship is one where you are not being your authentic self. That means you are putting places, people, things, time before yourself. Let me just delve into the characteristics of an unhealthy relationship. The first one is control. If you are in a relationship whereby one person is made to feel controlled, one person makes the decisions all the time, they decide what you eat, they decide what you wear, they decide who to hang out with, they decide your friends, they decide when for you to visit your family. You are in a controlling relationship. And in that relationship, one person benefits and the other person is harmed. So that is a parasitic relationship. Because the person tells you who you are at your core. The person dictates to you what you should do, what you should say, who you should say it to, where you should go, who to hang out with. The second thing is hostility. If you are in a relationship whereby one person picks fights unnecessarily, easily, everything you say, you have to pretty much look through with a lens what you're about to say before you say it, just for fear of the other person picking up a fight. And I do understand there are relationships whereby people can be unhappy about what you say. But it takes a mature individual to have a conversation about what you said that hurt their feelings rather than picking a fight. It makes you to start to walk on eggshells in that relationship. The third one is dishonesty. A relationship whereby it's unhealthy if one person tells lies in that relationship, and it doesn't matter how sordid the details are. You should often seek to tell the truth and face the consequences than tell a lie and still face the consequences when the time comes. Or one person conceals information from the other with the intent of deceiving the other. Number 4 is disrespect. Being made fun of your interests and opinions or destroying something that belongs to you. If you tell the other person in that relationship about maybe your goals, about what you are thinking of doing, and they make fun of it rather than support you, that is disrespect. I believe that every human being deserves respect. It doesn't matter what you have been through. It doesn't matter what you have done. As long as you were born onto this earth, you deserve respect. It doesn't matter your age. It doesn't matter qualifications. Every person deserves respect. Dependence is number 5. Being made to feel responsible for the other person and threatened if you are not compliant. If you are being made to feel responsible, if the other person puts the responsibility of making them happy on you, then that is dependence. They depend on you for their happiness. Number 6 is intimidation. If one person controls aspects of the other person's life, making them feel fearful or timid, for example, using violence to control, threatening that you are going to regret certain things about the relationship, threatening that they are going to expose certain things about the relationship. If you are being intimidated, then it is not a sign of a healthy relationship. It is unhealthy. Because we all have skeletons in the closet. I'm not encouraging it. I'm not encouraging that you keep secrets. But there are things about you that someone knows that you would not want them brandished out there for everyone to know. So if that person is using intimidation against you, that is not healthy. The next one is physical violence. If they are being forceful, for example, they're kicking and hurting you, or arm twisting, or slapping, then it is not a sign of a healthy relationship. Number 8 is sexual violence. If you are being forced into sexual activities against your will, it is not healthy. Number 9 is verbal and emotional abuse. For example, the use of words to demean you, to make you feel less than you actually are, less of yourself, to rip your self-esteem apart. Use of words to emotionally abuse you with the intent of making you feel stupid, or with the intent of making you feel unworthy, with the intent of denting your self-esteem. That is verbal and emotional abuse. There's a lot of use of emotional abuse nowadays, even in the media, amongst people. Things such as gaslighting, such as triangulation, if they are using fear, shame, and guilt, or if they are using words to instill fear on you, to instill shame, to instill guilt, then that is verbal or emotional abuse. Number 10, and the last one that I've got on my list, is jealousy. You would be amazed at how many people are in relationships where one or the other partner is either envious of or jealous of them. That is just ridiculous, because you would imagine that in a relationship, two people come together mutually to respect and honor one another, but one of them are envious of the other. It is just disgusting. Now, the one thing I need you to take away from this video is, if you are in a situation where any of these are happening, or all of these are happening, then it's not a lost cause. Please do seek help. Seek help from a coach, from a relationship coach. Seek help from a counselor, or from a therapist, from a relationship therapist. If things get really, really bad, if you are in danger of your own life, get out, please, and seek help. There is a ton of help out there. And the one thing I need you to understand is that whoever is exhibiting all of these characteristics, or majority of them, it is not about you, it's about them. It's about how they feel on the inside. I am not condoning it, but I am just saying that it is all on them and nothing to do with you, because you are an amazing human being and you deserve all the respect that you could ever get. Hope you got something out of this video, and hope to see you in the next video. Ciao.